And this matter is before the court on Miss Rodman's uh, objection to the uh, referee's recommendation subsequently adopted in the court's order, keeping this personal protective order in place until at least it expires on December the 18th of this year, per its own terms. So as an initial matter, I would invite both parties to state and spell your names for the record. We can begin with petitioner Ms. Rodman.
Alisa Rodman. Did you say spell my name?
Yes, please.
Alisa, last name Rodman.
Thank you, ma'am. And Ms. Phelan.
Well, it's Tiffany Fallon, which is TiffanyFalen. I was married, got divorced about 5 years ago, and it was Christensen then, and that is Christiansen.
Very good. Thank you, ma'am. And Ms. Christensen, this is your appeal, and it basically indicates that you think that there was new evidence, uh, which you did attach there, that wasn't reviewed by the court previously, and that would result in the termination of the PPO. Is that correct?
Well, yeah, yeah, that's correct.
And here, let
Um,
me swear you in so I can get it
okay.
as testimony. If you would
Okay.
please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that your testimony today will be the truth and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
So I was very confused when I got served with this PPO. Um, at the last hearing, I didn't even know that there were two police incident reports to Kent County that she had called about. And let me back up. First of all, I don't even see this girl. This girl is the mother to my nephew. We have not had any contact other than just through like social media, Snapchat. She was just like back in May, Snapchatting me like of my nephew. Like we've had no altercations ever, Your Honor. We've never had any issues. My brother called me up on May 7th. I hadn't even spoken to him actually for a couple months, and he didn't know what was going on. He went to pick his son up or something. I'm not sure. Anyway, what initially I guess happened, and I've got all the paperwork now from my brother's court proceedings with Miss Rodman over this stuff. She basically tried to say that my brother was abusing my nephew. There was a CPS case. This is all through Muskegon County because they lived in Muskegon County when this all took place, when their son was like when they moved here, when they lived with me when they first moved here. They lived in Muskegon County. So this is all in Muskegon County. So this all started at the beginning of May. I went to her house, Your Honor, and I absolutely did leave a letter for her because I was concerned for her and for this child because I had heard she'd had got a new boyfriend. And this is where it really is frustrating to me because I am a survivor of domestic violence. I've had reconstructive surgery from the state of Michigan for the victim service unit because of my abuser who has spent time in jail, who I have a PPO on, who I had to fight to get a PPO on. And I mean, I'm just lost. But anyway, I go to this woman's house, to her house, and I'm already in Grand Rapids. She lives where she lived. She's a long ways away from me. I don't have time. I run a cleaning business, my daughter and I do, and that's another reason I need this PPO off. My daughter and I run a cleaning business. I don't have time to go to her house to stalk her. I don't have any a reason to do any of those things. So wherever she heard that through was wrong. In her initial thing, I did come and I left the letter, which is attached right here to the very first PPO. And if you read that letter, there is not one thing in that letter that is threatening or harmful. And when the policeman called me later on that evening, he said that, and I still didn't know about CPS or anything. I just didn't know why my brother couldn't get DAID, and I was concerned. So I stopped there after I dropped my workers off in Grand Rapids, went a little further, stopped at her house, left her the note that I said that I stopped before work to see you and Dade. Just wanted you to know that I'm here for you if you want to talk. I love you and Dade very much. Love Tiff. And then I promise I came here out of love and concern because I didn't want her thinking that I was coming there for my brother for any reason. I was concerned about my nephew, period.
And
Then I
Dade
get,
is your nephew?
Yes, and Your Honor, they've been going through these court motions in Muskegon County. If you look it up or get a hold of Judge Pittman, you will see. She has filed ex partes. Everything has been turned around and denied. My brother got put on a supervised visitation and I got named the supervisor, which Alyssa didn't want. So then she went a step further to try to make up these accusations, I guess, about me and get
Are
a
you still
PPO
the
on me.
supervisor?
No, because it's all null and void. Everything was found inaccurate. Everything got overturned. The judge put everything back to normal. They have another court hearing actually next Tuesday because now she just moved the child out of his school district. Like there's so much that you don't know what's going on because it's a whole nother county. But I shouldn't have a PPO. I went to Miss Rodman's house one time and left a letter. She has another thing in there about a police report, an incident report in Kent County from a day that we were at court in Muskegon County, claiming that I followed her out of the courthouse, harassing her. Your Honor, you know there's cameras. I never once followed that girl. I never once left the same floor that she was on of the courthouse. That's a lie. And why did she wait until 7:00 p.m. at night to report it in Kent County rather than in Muskegon County? If you were threatened by me, you're at the courthouse. Why did you wait till 7 p.m. to report it at Kent County? That doesn't make much sense. Like I have not done any of these things. I run a cleaning business. My name gets ran for background checks. Like this everything that she has put my brother, my daughter, this little boy through for the past however many months over all of her lies that keep getting found out that she is obviously just making up accusations and that are false. Like I don't want this on my name, sir. I literally was signed up for a CPL class because that was the next step I had to take to protect myself. And then I get a letter from the state of Michigan that I can't take my CPL class because I have a PPO. It's just, I'm sorry.
Yep. And you're thinking you needed to arm yourself to protect yourself from Miss Rodman?
No, sir. I have a PPO against my abuser.
Okay, a whole separate person,
right.
different matter.
So my point is like, I get served this PPO and I'm thinking to myself, what did I do? I left her a letter. Like, I can't even get my CPL now because my abuser constantly shows up. We're constantly in court over PPO violations, and I don't know how he always gets out of it all. But anyway, I'm just lost. Like I can't. I've literally been turned down jobs because it came back that when they did some background check or something, I don't even know.
Well,
and
the PPO is a civil case. It shouldn't certainly show on a
yeah, I don't know. I don't
criminal
know.
background check. Now, sometimes if they run what's called the Law Enforcement Information Network report in the county, at least that the PPO's filed, those, the PPOs make their way into lien because then it informs law enforcement officers if they're called to a scene, if there's a protected individual involved. But again, that's a temporary thing, and boy, to use that as a basis for employment would be pretty questionable, I would say, on a legal standpoint.
And maybe it was, I don't know. These are just
it could be something else as well, I suppose.
Right. I'm not sure exactly. But no, I'm just regardless. I've wanted the PPO off regardless because everything that she has stated in her thing stating that I've stalked her and all this stuff. Like I have not had any conversations or threatening words to her. Did I tell her that she was going to be watched by a private investigator from here on out? I absolutely did. I said something along the lines of my brother couldn't hire one, but I could because there's something going on. And obviously, like I said, if you look at Judge Pittman's whatever, I mean, I've got everything from my brother's hearing. Like I said, they have another one coming up, but it was the judge. I have his orders from that judge. She had it all turned into CPS. I have the amendment from CPS letters telling them that the case was amended because they could not substantiate the stuff. Like I have everything against everything that she's tried to do in Muskegon County has been turned down, except for the PPO she went and got in Kent County against my brother and I. And she's actually the one that has domestic violence on her record, not me, not my brother.
There's a separate PPO against
my brother as well.
Brother.
Yes.
Okay.
We went and got them on us after I was appointed the supervisor. So then I still had to see her every other weekend with multiple times to get this child.
Yeah, it would certainly complicate things. I will note, I did look at the PPO here. She did not request, and I did not grant one that prohibits you from owning or possessing a firearm. Now, I believe the Michigan CPL statute says that anyone who is a respondent in a PPO, and this is a domestic PPO because she did live with you for a while, cannot obtain a CPL, and that's probably what's causing the blockage on your ability to get a CPL. So, all right. Well, I've heard your side of the story. Let me hear from Ms. Rodman. And if there are things you need to respond to, I'll hear from you again, then I can make my ruling. So, Ms. Rodman, if you would unmute, I'll swear you in and I'll hear what you have to say. If you'd please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that your testimony today will be the truth and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
All right, Ms. Rodman, do you think I should remove the PPO at this time? Or are those allegations that are the basis of it still facts that warrant your protection?
Yes, they do warrant my protection. I just want to say, like, first off, she's saying that the only concern is just because there was court issues going on. I will say that I think the intent came from her brother, who was my abuser, being upset with me due to my son making claims that he was being abused by his father. And then a CPS investigation started. And then he didn't have access to his son. He was upset with me. And when he gets upset with me, there's times where whenever he wants a situation to be saved, or if he does some sort of like criminal, behavior towards me, he knows that I trusted Tiffany. And so that's the person he would send to kind of like mitigate the situation. That is why I feel concerned for my safety. I didn't have any idea that she would stalk my house until I found out from somebody else. She left a note on my door. I had trust issues with her already because of her helping my previous abuser get away with criminal charges against me previously. And she left a note at my door, and it doesn't just say, "Oh, this is out of love." It says, "I promise no shady intentions." You can read the note. Like, why would somebody write like, "Oh, I have no shady intentions"? Like,
That's not what was said at all.
because she knows that that's what I'm going to assume. She knows that's what I'm going to assume. So read it.
Evidence, Nikki. Evidence. You're right. I promise I came out of love and concern, no other intentions. Keep up
No
with
other
the lies,
intention. That's my point. Why would you think I would have
Nikki, listen,
why
I'm
would
not here to argue with
All right,
you.
I can't have you both talking because I won't pick you both up on my recording. So I will give you a chance to respond, Ms. Phelan. I'm going to go back to you. But nonetheless, let me hear out Ms. Rodman at this
You're
time.
right.
my point is that she was aware that I was concerned for other intentions, and that's why she felt the need to include it in the note. Okay, there was multiple witnesses at June 4th. If she wants to find the camera evidence to provide to back up herself or story that she says, then that's totally fine. I would be happy to wait for that evidence to come through and show that she's wrong. I have multiple witnesses. I have multiple witnesses at the June 4th occurrence, and the CPS charges were substantiated. The amendment that my son's father recorded basically just means they can't press charges against him. They don't have enough evidence to press charges against him. This cannot be redetermined. I already spoke with somebody from CPS. These things do not go away.
Okay. All right. Let me hear the response.
I have more also. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. Continue then, Ms. Rodman, since this is your opportunity.
So I'm saying that I think the intention for my concern for criminal behavior from either one of them, I'm not saying Tiffany is a vicious or vile person. I am saying that she will act on the behalf of her brother. I'm concerned because if there is any further issues regarding custody or whatever else, or any other issues between me and Anthony, I'm concerned for my safety from both of them.
In that case, as far as you're concerned, is still ongoing. It's just in Muskegon County.
Yes.
That would be the child protective case, or what kind of cases?
The child protective case was actually in Kent County, but there is a separate CPS investigation going on in Muskegon, but that is not related to my child. That's related to my child's sister with another woman. So,
and that's also false. That has also
okay.
been
Well, I don't even want to venture
false.
into that one now. Which one has a hearing that's upcoming, Ms. Rodman?
I have a
Or
hearing, I believe next week,
Mhm.
just for
Mhm.
we're
Got it.
switching the schools because my son's school is kicking him out, because we're not in district anymore. And then he filed the ex parte to try to take custody from me.
Okay, so there is a custody issue that's ongoing and it's in Muskegon.
Yes, yes.
Okay. All right. Is that anything else I need to know?
At this time, that's all I have to say. Thank you.
All right. Go ahead, Ms. Fallon, with your response. You do remain under oath.
I am under oath, and that's what irritates me so much because this girl is lying straight through her teeth, Your Honor. And all I'm going to ask of you is if I can give you every single paperwork that I have everything from Muskegon County. My brother had to do the ex parte because the judge told them that at the last hearing that she filed another ex parte, and he was very upset with her. Spoke to her only for 45 minutes about I can't even understand. That's why I'm asking you. Can I turn in every evidence that I have? Because no, she took the child out of his school after the judge told them both that they had to be. No, she didn't yet. He's got to leave his school on November 26th because she moved even further away, which is the thing. I don't see her. I've never seen her. My brother has never sent me to do anything. I have been abused by men all my life from the time I was a little girl, Your Honor. I would surely never help anybody. I would help a stranger on the street if they were with somebody that was abusing them.
Yeah,
And
I
that
don't
is why
think the
I'm
concern
concerned.
is the abuse. I think it's
But
more
listen,
about
I
your
want proof.
nephew
Where's
and the
is that
custody
my
case and you and your brother.
but listen, I wasn't even speaking to my brother. I haven't seen this girl. I don't do anything for my brother besides help with these kids. That is it. And what is the proof? The letter I left? The letter that was nice, and I made sure to talk to the policeman that night. I said, "Sir, did I do something wrong?" I have not ever been back to her house since that day, except for the days that I had to go sit into the parking lot of her trailer park for the supervised visits. I've never spoken to her. I've done nothing but be nice to her. When we left court that one day, I did say, "Why are you doing this to these kids, Nikki? You're lying. You are lying." There was
Well, and
no
I mean,
threats. I didn't follow her out of the courtroom. The guy from the courtroom came out. So let's turn in all the real evidence. I would be happy. I've got everything. Everything she's telling you about CPS, it's not, there's no cases open. Her and this other baby mom got together, started these rumors, and the other baby mom has court cases too. She has tied my brother and I up all summer. And all I'm trying to do is work. And I don't know what they're trying to get these kids because they're in school now. I don't know. That's not my concern. I didn't even want to be a supervisor. I tried to not be a supervisor. I didn't want any part of this. And it's
yeah, well, and now
frustrating.
you're out of that role, it sounds like.
Right, but I'm out of that role, but I still have to deal with this. I just want the PPO done. I don't want to talk to her, see her. I don't want nothing to do with her. And I'm not going to have to after Tuesday next week because I already know Judge Pittman's not going to be very happy when he sees her rolling back in his courtroom again.
Well,
And if
and
I
I'm
can
not going
turn
to
in
try to
all of this,
predict
if I can
what.
turn in all of this paperwork, you will see the timeline of events.
Well, here's the
That
thing
she
is
read.
what's in front of me is PPO initially. You have been in front of, it looks like the referees twice.
No, I
And
have
there has
not.
been
No,
some
I have not.
supplemental information turned into the referees by both sides along the
No,
way. And the referees have both kept the order in
I,
place. And Judge
sir, I have
Eckert,
not. I'm sorry, I have not been in front of a referee twice at all.
well, the case has
And
been reviewed,
I
it
didn't
looks
get
like
anything to
twice
turn
by
in.
the
I
referee on objections.
No,
Uh,
this is wrong. I listen, what I'm telling you, sir, is I did. I went in front of referee Comar's, whatever. I went
yep.
all the way back down to Kent County again because I hadn't heard anything and I didn't know what to do. I hadn't got my letter in the mail, or no, I got this letter in the mail telling me that stuff had to be turned in on a Friday. I got the letter on a Monday. So I went
Okay.
down there.
Well,
They gave me this name and number, and this lady has never even called me back.
well,
So what I'm
and
saying is,
yeah, there shouldn't be any contact
uh,
right now,
can
obviously,
I
by the
ask a
terms of
question? I know.
the order.
Can I ask you a question, Your Honor? Can you tell
Nope,
me?
I'm in the process of ruling now, so I really am past the point for questions. But what I got in a very clear sense that there is still some bad blood here in the relationship. Now, your intention in giving her that note might have been good, but her read of the note and given the status, and the tension you're describing today, I certainly could see on from her perspective how she could read that as I'm, planning something, to do with the nephew, not anything to do with her, to expose her to abuse or anything else, but to kind of, back up your brother in the custody dispute, which is clearly still a live issue, that's ongoing here, as it always is with the custody of kids. And I just frankly think it is best for the two of you to maintain no contact with each other. So I'm going to leave that in place now. All that being said, I don't see any basis to renew that right now as we sit here, after December 18th. If this stays quiet, it'll just expire as of its own terms, by December 18th. That's frankly before I could give you a hearing on any supplemental evidence and submissions and set a hearing date and all that stuff. We'd be after December 18th, and I wouldn't be able to terminate the order before it expires anyway. So what I would prefer to do in this case is just leave this in place. It'll be in place for one more month. Yeah,
Judge,
granted, that is
Judge, we lost her. I'm not sure if she exited
signed off or not.
intentionally.
Okay, well, I'll just put the rest of the ruling on the record. But anyway, the appeal is denied. Protective order remains in place.
Thank you. I'm gonna renew it. I'm going to.